Call this meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and the invocation following.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear God, please bless our elected officials. Grant them the wisdom to know and the courage to do what is right for all citizens. Amen.
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 Roll call, please.
Allen.
Here.
Green.
Here.
LaFour. Mistrovich.
Here.
Reindell.
Here.
Ricks.
Here.
Warren.
Here.
Motion to excuse Councilor LaFour from tonight's meeting with prior notice for being out of town.
I'll make the motion.
Support.
Motion been made and supported. Wish I was where he's at right now. Any other conversation? Being not, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. Approval of minutes from the City Council meeting of January 3rd. A motion be in order?
Make the motion.
Support.
Motion been made and supported. Any discussion on those minutes? Being not, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. Audience comments on any non-agenda items. If you fall under the agenda, I will, once council is done deliberating, we will come to you to discuss or to hear your comments on that particular item. Is there anybody here for any non-agenda items? Being that, we'll move along. Mr. City Manager, any changes?
No changes.
City Council, any changes to the agenda? Motion to accept the agenda as presented would be in order.
I'll make the motion.
Support.
Must have been made and supported. Any discussion? Being not, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. Is there a motion for the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Support.
Motion made and support. There's no discussion on the motion. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. We move on to our public hearing for the use of fiscal year 2022, 2023 CDBG funds. We need a motion to go into that public hearing, which you'll find on the back of your page.
I'll make a motion to open the public hearing for the use of fiscal year 2022-2023 CDBG funds at 7:07 p.m.
Support.
Motion been made and supported. Any discussion? Being not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion passes. We are in the public hearing. Mr. City Manager?
Council is scheduled to have this public hearing regarding the distribution of our fiscal year 2022-2023 Community Development Block Grant allocation. The CDBG allocation is derived by a method from the Housing and Urban Development Department, HUD, that takes into consideration factors such as population, poverty, and overcrowding. The allocation method for CDBG funds has remained the same as last year. Once again, all the bricks and mortar projects are done through a competitive process where all of the communities submit their request to the county for them to review. But we do have $4,930 in public service, which may be used for public service projects.
Thank you, sir. Is there anybody here to discuss before administration?
We do have Care House.
That is Care House. I thought so. Would you like to come up here and?
Good evening. My name is Dory Vasquez Nolan. I'm the Executive Director of Care House, the Macomb County Child Advocacy Center. Our main office is located in Mount Clemens, and we also have a satellite center located in the city of Warren. Care House is the only agency in Macomb County that provides a comprehensive response to cases of child sexual abuse, physical abuse, and for children who may have been a witness to a violent act, as well as their non-offending family members. Our goals are to minimize the trauma that is typically associated with a child abuse investigation and to support the child victim and their family through the investigation and prosecution phase and to begin the healing process. Care House is an accredited member of the National Children's Alliance. We collaborate with all law enforcement jurisdictions in Macomb County, as well as the FBI, Homeland Security, and Immigrations and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, as well as Children's Protective Services, the Macomb County Prosecutor's Office, and medical and mental health professionals. Almost 3 kids in every Michigan classroom, and over 20,000 of all the kids here in Macomb County today are living with the trauma of sexual abuse. We know that these numbers are surely much higher than our best estimates because most children never tell. And sadly, living with sexual abuse is a reality for children of every race, gender, and socioeconomic status. These kids could be your kids, your neighbor's kids, or your kids' friends. One could even be you or me. And over 800 child victims of sexual and physical abuse come from every community in Macomb County and start their journey at Care House every year. Care House also offers intervention and support services for child victims and their parents, intervening to promote healing and to help families cope with the emotional stress and trauma that is caused not only by the acts of abuse but by the investigative process. And those services include the coordination of forensic interviews, crisis counseling, child safety assessments, parent and child support groups, trauma-focused therapy sessions, family advocacy, access to forensic medical examinations, referrals to other needed community services, and as the designated counsel in Macomb County for the Michigan Children's Trust Fund, Care House also offers child abuse prevention information, education and training for professionals and to the community at large. Families are never charged for any of the services that they receive at Care House, and we provide services for all referred children and family members. I'm also very proud to report that according to our most recent independent financial audit, over 88 cents of every dollar that comes to Care House is devoted specifically to serving children and families in our community. Since we opened in 1996, we've conducted over 9,500 forensic interviews, and 35 of those children were residents of the city of Richmond. In 2019, we conducted 757 forensic interviews, with 5 of those children being residents of Richmond. And 2020, last year, our numbers were down, which was not surprising. We did 664 forensic interviews serving 3 City of Richmond children. And last year in 2021, we conducted 727 forensic interviews with 1 child being a resident of the City of Richmond. The pandemic does continue to be cause a lot of challenges for Care House and for the families that we serve. And we canceled our largest annual fundraiser in 2020, but we were able to hold it in November of last year, and it was very successful. However, our resources do continue to be stretched thin, and we've already seen a large increase in the demand for support and services from families impacted by the pandemic. To meet this need, we established family pantries at both of our locations with non-perishable food items and snacks, cleaning supplies, PPEs, baby items, household and school supplies, as well as children's games and books. We also provided holiday assistance last year for 16 families in need, making the season a little brighter for 63 children and their family members. We do depend on the support of the community to provide a voice for child victims and a safe place for them to be heard. And we're very grateful for the $1,000 that we received from the City of Richmond last year from your CDBG funds and for your long-standing support. This year, we respectfully request consideration in the amount of $1,200 to support services for 2 qualifying child victims and their families who would be residents of the City of Richmond. And of course, we'd be happy and grateful for any amount that you'd be able to send our way. We invite you to visit our website at www.mcchairhouse.org and to like our Facebook page. And thank you for your consideration. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions at this time?
I hope you're able to take a look at our stats, too, that we shared with you.
Thank you very much. Anybody else? Troy, comments?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, I don't know whether there's another public hearing tonight, but I did receive word from a few, for instance, interfaith volunteers and Maggie's Wigs for Kids. They had prior engagements and are not able to be here, but they do hope you'll consider their request.
Was it just those two, Troy? Interfaith and Wigs for Kids
Those
that
are
contacted you?
Two that I heard from.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Any other comments? Motion to close the public hearing?
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing for the use of the fiscal year 2022-2023 CDBG funds at 7:15 PM.
Support.
Motion made and supported. Any discussion? Being not, all in favor of closing the CDBG 22-23 public hearing, say aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. We move on. We have 5 items for consideration this evening. The first one being consideration of fiscal year 2022-23 CDBG funding allocations. Mr. City Manager.
Council is scheduled to review and approve the fiscal year 2022-2023 CDBG funding allocation. The City of Richmond administration is recommending that we apply for $24,984 for the bricks and mortar projects, and that would go towards trying to have approval for putting automatic door openers at the library. That would be 2 at the front vestibule and 1 at the side entrance there. As you recall, we recently put them here at City Hall in the front entrance, and our last year's allocation or request for the bricks and mortar to place them at the community center was approved, so that project will get going this spring. So what we're asking for is to kind of round out the city facilities and place them at the library. Again, that doesn't impact the public service dollars. The public service dollars are the motions number 1 and number 2. The first motion would be if you were only giving money to the senior coordinator, and then motion number 2 is if you were fully funding all of those requests that we received from the various service organizations that Macomb County deems are eligible to receive funds from the City of Richmond. The county has made the request this year that we not increase the funding that we allocate to any of those service agencies. What happened last year is a couple of them weren't eligible to, a lot of communities gave more than what was being requested of them, and that caused problems down the line, and some of those communities had to give money back, which then caused problems with HUD, things like that. So they do request that if you're going to give money, that you give the money that has been shown by the county for those organizations. So if you, on motion number 2, if we remove any of those, it would go towards the senior coordinator and not increasing one of the other organizations. But motion number 2 allocates it to all of those that are requesting for the city. I'm sorry to make that a little complex. Troy can answer any questions on that, but that was his direction from them. He has to go to the meetings, I think, quarterly or bi-monthly down at the county.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
We can start right off the bat with, I make a motion to apply for the $24,984 for the fiscal year 2022-2023 CDBG competitive funding to furnish the 3 ADA automatic door opener to the Lois Wagner Memorial Library located at 35200 Division Road.
Support.
It's been made and supported.
Because that's just that is the brick and mortar one that one.
Yes.
Correct. Yes.
As we've had success with the CDBG money at the community center, I believe, those doors.
Yes.
And then our doors here at City Hall? Or am I wrong? It's
Yes,
here at City Hall?
those were funded here, and we were ineligible 2 years ago, but we were able to be eligible this last year for the senior center.
Okay, so
Which
these-
will be being done this spring.
Okay, so we'll have the 2 buildings, and then this would be the next building.
Yep.
And we go maybe next year for the odd,
We
would
certainly
be the
could.
next
Yep,
building.
yep. Yeah, I talked about 3, but now we have 4.
Yeah, exactly. I think this is a great thing to have. If anybody has tried to get into the library, that door is even very difficult for a guy like me. It wants to come back at you right away when you go to open it. So this definitely will be a good thing to have over there, make it much easier for everybody to get in to those doors. Any other discussion? Any public comments? Back to the table? All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. Now we need to deal with the other issues that we have here, with the monies. Does anybody care to make a motion right away? Or council can always drop its rules, and we can have an open discussion on what we would like to do. What's council's pleasure?
Drop the rules.
Pardon me?
Drop the rules.
Okay.
Yep.
How you guys all feel?
Yep.
Need a consensus here?
Fine, yeah, that's good.
Yes.
Okay, let's drop the rules and have a conversation. I think Care House is, obviously, we have supported them for years that I know of, and I think we need to definitely include them. Turning Point was another one that our police department has said that is great for them to have in case. I think that would be another one that we need to do. MAJCHRZAK used to be handled by the church. I know the Trinity Lutheran Church, in cooperation with some of the other churches in town, used to host that. Now with COVID the last couple of years, I don't know that they've done it at all. So I don't know where they've been doing the
Well, they
MAJCHRZAK.
have a building now, don't they?
It hasn't opened yet. They do have a building in Roseville, a shelter in Roseville. What they were doing during COVID, and I believe they are still doing, well, COVID's still here, obviously, they're putting individuals into hotels,
Oh, okay.
which is costly, as you can imagine.
You think that it's something that's, we should be supporting still?
If you're asking me personally, I'm going to say yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my, and especially, I mean, their request is, I think, $792 is not asking for very much.
That's only like 3 days in a good hotel. Okay. So then it's the Interfaith Volunteer, Maggie's Wigs, and Senior Services Coordinator. I got a question for administration. Senior Services Coordinator, then are we tied to so many hours of Margot and/or staff
Yes.
to do seniors?
Yes, and normally what happens is, as Margot sits there at lunch, she's helping them log on to certain websites. She's, we have the card playing programs, we have the lunch program, we bring in speakers at that time, so her hours spent during that time cover the amount that we get for the senior coordinator.
My question would be for the future, if, especially with the auditorium now, if we had even more senior services in there, can we request more from the county, or is that it?
We only get the $4,930, so whatever you don't.
No, right now, I know, but in the future. is
No.
what I'm-
No.
No, that's all they're going
that's
to give
our-
to the city of
yes,
Richmond
correct.
due to population?
Yep.
It's due to population as well as
Density and poverty.
density and
Yeah.
poverty, and it's a whole big thing that Macomb County does to make sure they're being fair to everybody. The biggest reason they went to the competitive grant like 2 years ago was a lot of our smaller townships, they could use the public service money but didn't have projects for the other stuff. So Macomb County then looked at what everybody was receiving as far as public service dollars and has continued that, where the money that would normally go to bricks and mortar is now all in one pot at the county. Unfortunately, our dollars are kind of, whatever HUD gives us, and then Macomb County gets from HUD. If we get more money, they may be able to increase our public service dollars, but it would probably only be a few $100s.
Okay, thank you. Other discussion?
Just for point of reference, last year, you did give to Care House, Turning Point, and Interfaith Volunteer Caregivers.
Really don't know much else about the Maggie wigs for kids.
It's for children that are recovering from illness who may be balding because of radiation, or they may have a condition like alopecia. And these are handmade wigs to give to children who otherwise might have low self-esteem or bad, it's to aid those persons who are recovering, to give them at least some sense of normalcy when they're out in public.
So I guess my question, if somebody went to them from Richmond, they say the cost of the wig is $2,700. Are they going to have to pay the $1,700 since Richmond is giving $1,000 towards the wig?
That I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering.
Oh, so are you asking if the amount given to the child is tied to the amount the municipality gave? And I don't think it works that way. I think they just collect money and have fundraisers very similar to like Care House.
So is that,
Yes.
so if one of our residents go in there, since we participate,
I don't think that
does
would
our
make a
resident get the
difference if we
wig for
didn't
free?
participate. They would get a wig for free no matter what.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It just helps the organization. This is the first time they're at, and I'm just curious if maybe we got put on their radar because somebody may have been.
Yeah, I do know in previous years they may do like a quadrant of Macomb County, because like last year they were in Shelby, Washington, and Romeo asking for funding. So maybe our turn.
So go where they think they could potentially get funding. I don't have an issue with any of them, but.
It doesn't show that, anybody from Richmond in at least 2020 is the records they show. Nobody requested help from Richmond Township.
I don't see where he's looking at. Oh, and that.
What's council's pleasure on this one? Is council ready for a motion?
I guess the true question would be, as long as we're okay with paying for our seniors coordinator out of our general fund, these are all nonprofit organizations that are just asking for a piece of the pie from the CDBG. So I guess we are fiscally sound as a city, so I have no issue giving the amount requested to any of these organizations. If we were hurting, that would be a different story, but.
Mhm.
So are you requesting a motion, or would you like to think more?
A motion can be made.
Oh,
We can still have
okay.
discussion after a
Oh,
motion.
then I'll just make the motion
Okay.
to allocate the $4,930 of the fiscal year 2020, is that correct? 2022 22, 2023.
Sorry, yeah.
That's okay. CDBG funding to the following public service programs: Care House in the amount of $1,200, Interfaith Volunteer Caregivers in the amount of $148, MAJCHRZAK in the amount of $792, Maggie's Wigs for Kids of Michigan in the amount of $1,000, Turning Point in the amount of $1,000, and the City of Richmond Senior Service Coordinator in the amount of $790.
Support.
It's been made and supported. Any further discussion?
I got one question. On the sheet broke down, it says a total of 4140 as a total, not 43 amount of the grant. 4930, another one, it says 4140,
You are correct.
so they got extra money sitting out there.
41.
We're short money.
Yeah,
No, we're
we're
short
short.
money then.
So was
No.
this last year, or?
No, it's, yeah, but it's 49.
It's, it
That's
shows.
totaled up, so that would be 49, so you're 800, you still got 800 something sitting out there, or
No, we're shy of it.
Shy.
We're shy.
high.
If
that's correct, Troy.
This depends on which figure is correct.
Yeah, it says on-
And I guess,
The figure that we are getting is $4,930.
Where did this number come from on this particular sheet then?
Well, it's
4140.
it's because it's missing this calculation's missing the
We're actually still got 800
Senior Services Coordinator.
We're not sure.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is that the
Yeah,
difference?
that's a
There you
difference.
go.
$800.
Yeah.
Okay, yep. There you go.
It's a
Mike.
790.
Good catch.
in the hole.
No?
Yeah.
You see that? It's, yeah, that senior coordinator that
Oh, okay.
we
All right, there you
allocate.
go. All right.
The 4,140 is the amount that the outside city public service organization.
There we go.
Okay.
Costing. The 4,930 is our allocation, so if we were to give
Yeah, now I see it. Okay.
That
everything,
includes
That actually wasn't
the
adding up.
senior service.
it would
coordinator.
be $4,140 to outside public service org.
All right.
Okay.
I'm good with it.
Yep.
I was looking for the interfaith volunteer caregivers. It's $148. But I was looking to see, and I think I have missed it in the background, of what it is that they do.
They provide, they can do work on people's houses. They can do rides to doctor appointments and things of that sort. They were here last year.
I remember now that you say that, that's,
They were here last year.
yep. Okay, thank you. Okay,
Just,
any other discussion on the motion? Any audience participation on this item? Back to the table? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass.
I do have one more question, Mr. Mayor. On here, I do see Armada Pal and the Shelby Township Lions. Would our local Lions or our POA ever qualify for something like this then?
They would have to approach Macomb County,
The HUD, the CDB,
Yeah.
okay.
because in order to be considered as an organization, they need to be pre-vetted through the county.
Okay. Thank you.
Item number 2, consideration of special event requests, vintage road trip, market, and more. Mr. City Manager.
Council is scheduled to review a special event request from Flora's Trash to Treasure to hold the Vintage Road Trip Market and More event on Saturday, May 14th and Sunday, May 15th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. in the municipal parking lot. They would also like to have the use of the municipal parking lot on Friday, May 13th, beginning at 5 p.m. for setup. This is the second year for this event. I will say I had a misunderstanding, so I'm going to get into how much of the parking lot they're requesting. Also in their request is a request to have up to 5 food trucks. We approved 3 to 5 last year. Again, this year, I'm speaking to Melissa, she's looking at some that will be more specialty foods, whether it's popcorn or cookies, things like that, and then some that'll be more full meals where you might be able to make a meal out of what they have. The one thing I had a misunderstanding with Melissa on is that due to the growth of her market, she feels that she will essentially fill up the entire parking lot with vendors. So the parking, just so everyone is aware, will be on the side streets. We often take one side of Park off and one side of Monroe off, just to make sure that we can still. Parker,
Okay.
And Monroe, and then right at the corner. That hasn't changed, so I would still make that recommendation, otherwise you just can't get emergency vehicles through there. She has indicated that they will be going to the school to see if they will be able to use any of the parking over there in order to be able to have, on Saturday and Sunday, people park at the high school and walk across either through the Trailhead Park or potentially, I believe, some type of shuttle. And so right now, with the growth of the event, they would take up pretty much the entirety of the municipal parking lot.
Okay.
So that is a difference in available parking.
Ladies, make your presentation to the council.
All right. So I guess with that being said, also, you guys, I think, have this map. If you look at this space that goes from the corner of the building to where the porta potties will be, we are going to leave that parking open and accessible. So if Al and Teresa or the yoga studio or they need to get closer parking while we're there, that would be accessible. And also the Friday night setup would only be within the confines of between the building. It's just for our larger vendors and for ourselves so that we can kind of get ahead of the game and get everybody set up for the most part on Saturday morning before the event starts. Last year we had about 26 vendors, I think it was, between the buildings. And we did have a little more space than what we would probably need this year because of COVID restrictions. We had to have spacing between the tents, and this year we won't necessarily need as much spacing. But with those 26 vendors, it pretty much filled between the buildings. I know several of you guys had come up to kind of check things out that day, and it was pretty full. So if we stay between the confines of the building, it's going to limit us to about 26 to 30 vendors, and that's going to be where we would have to cap it off at. Also, with taking up that back part of the parking lot, what we'd like to do is along this backside is where we'd like to put the food vendors. We did make a conscious effort last year because of our conversations here to also talk to the restaurants and see how the event went for them. The girls at Chaps told me that they haven't made that kind of money in a very long time. So they were really good. Ken's was packed, Village was packed. The guys at the brewery even said that they had a great weekend. So as a matter of fact, Yusuf, that I think his name is, that owns the party store, came over to see what was going on because his business was increased. So we would actually like to possibly build on that and contact the EMS for the community transit shuttle and include maybe our granary district and have like a trolley stop there, maybe use some high school parking, and a pickup area for our customers as well. So they're not hauling bigger stuff onto the community transit or hauling it down the street. There'd be an area where they'd be able to pull their car up at the back of the lot and pick larger items up. So we're trying to really make it not just a bigger event, but more of a community event. You know, that was kind of our idea right from the start, was that this isn't something just for Flores, it's something for our community. We need these people to come and support our retail as much as we do for people locally to shop here. So I think that this event does that and is capable of doing that. But with that said, last year we had Taryn Strasser and her mom brought 2 of their food trucks. They actually run 8 food trucks. But they last year brought Top Dog and the cheese wagon. We as well had a cookie person, and a pulled pork barbecue guy. And those were our 4 that we had last year. And our cookie person misunderstood us and didn't come Sunday. So they thought it was a one-day event, but we're hoping to have them for both days. So again, we would go in with the same premise that 2 to 3 of them would be food and 2 to 3 would be more snacky things. We actually found out that Taryn's brother owns a coffee truck, and we would really like to have that as one of our trucks if possible, if he's available. So I think that's about it. If you guys have any other questions for us, be happy to answer.
Not yet. Is there a motion, council?
Make a motion to approve the special event request from Flores Trash to Treasure to hold a vintage road trip market and more event on Saturday, May 14th and Sunday, May 15th, 2022, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. in the municipal parking lot. Do we just eliminate that area then, John? Is that what you would prefer? We'll just keep it as a municipal parking lot with the use of the parking lot beginning on Friday, May 14th to allow for setup.
Support.
Motion been made and supported. Discussion?
That'd be the
Or any
13th.
questions for the presenters here?
That'd be the 13th.
13.
Sorry.
Oh, Friday, May 13th, correct? I just want to say that date.
Yeah.
That's not a good date.
I didn't want to say
Pick
that.
that one for.
I know.
No, that's just set up, so.
We're going to make it lucky.
Well, we're extremely happy that you guys are back again. You know, it's a good thing for our community, there's no doubt about that. And we're glad that you've done a great job of organizing it and hopefully growing it also. That's what we like to see. And I believe you're going to see quite a bit of support here for that by the city, the generator use and whatnot. So, any other comments? Any questions, ladies? You have anything to say, Margot? Are you kidding me? You don't have anything to say? Whenever I get the chance, I like to give Margot. Anyhow, if there's no other discussion, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. We have a second request for the food vendors.
I make a motion to approve the special event request from Flores Trash to Treasure to allow 5 mobile food vendors during the Vintage Road Trip Market and More event on Saturday, May 14th and Sunday, May 15th, 2022, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. in the rear of the municipal parking lot.
Support.
Motion been made and supported. Any discussion?
You know what, I did get some feedback on our Christmas tree lighting with the one food vendor that they had, and that folks appreciated having that because they tried to get into Chaps and Ken's, but they were jam-packed. So it's always nice, and that they've, Melissa just shared too, that both restaurants there are impacted positively by the events that we have, regardless of what food is outside. So.
Not the same answer I got from one of the restaurants this past weekend when I questioned how that went. But again, you know how I feel about mobile food vendors and how they take money out of the community. But in this case, as this is growing, there is no way that the locals would be able, the local restaurants and whatnot, would be able to keep up with the food needs. I'm still going to vote against it. I think 5's way too many. If it was to read that you're going to have 2 or 3 full, what I would consider full service food wagons, and then you were going to have cookies and coffee and, you know, things like that. But to put 5 in that area when we already have 4 or 5 food establishments, I think that's too much rate in that location. So I will again vote no for it, but I wish the best for your activities there. And I know there's food to be had is a good thing in a special event like that. Any other discussion? Any audience? Back to the table. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Nay. Motion does pass. Good luck.
Thank you.
Hope you have good weather, too.
Oh, if it's just like last year, we'll be
Oh, it was
blessed.
perfect last year. Okay, item number 3 is consideration of proposal from Plant Moran Capital Assets Project. Mr. City Manager.
Council is scheduled to consider approving a proposal from the city auditors, Plant Moran, to provide assistance with the compilation and transfer of the city's capital assets into the city's financial software, otherwise known as BS&A. We discussed this project and approved it as part of our budget this year, and so we're just bringing it to you for formal approval. They have submitted a proposal for $7,500 to come in and help us transfer all of our various means of tracking public, or our capital assets into the financial software. As we discussed during the budget, we have a one-person financial department. For that person to take on these duties as well during the year would be very difficult. So we're requesting that we approve the proposal from Plant Moran, and our city treasurer, Angel Hatfield, is here if you have any questions.
Anything to add to that, Angel?
The auditors brought it up. It's their financial services group so it's not the actual auditors that'll be doing it, but they just assist, and they just said it would make the audit go a lot smoother as far as capital assets. And we really utilize the capital asset program mostly for the financial statements. So it is, we have different means, spreadsheets for water and sewer. We have some of it in the financial software, so this will consolidate it all and get rid of there's some old assets in there that probably don't need to be there.
So if it's going to be smoother, are they lowering their cost? They do an outstanding job. They really do. Motion be in order.
I make a motion to authorize the proposal with the total estimate of no more than $7,500 from Plant Moran to perform the work related to the city capital assets, and authorize the city manager to sign the engagement letter.
Support.
What's been made in support? Any discussion on this?
I just, to utilize our treasurer a little bit more, I think this will be a perfect software for this position to streamline the job better. So, great tool.
Anything else from anybody? Audience? Back to the table? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. Item number 4, consideration of resignation from the library board. Mr. City Manager?
City Council is scheduled to consider accepting the resignation of Pastor Alex Stewart from the library board. As indicated in his resignation letter, he will be relocating to the other side of the state.
Is there a motion?
Make a motion to accept the resignation letter from Pastor Alexander Stewart from the library board.
Support.
What's been made and supported? Any discussion? We thank him for his service. He has moved to Grand Rapids, as the city manager has mentioned, and we wish him well. Audience participation on this one? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. Item number 5 is consideration appointment to the library board. Mr. City Manager?
The library board, after your previous action, has a vacancy. We did have this out there, and we received one application from Linda MAJCHRZAK, and it is in your packet, but was also emailed to you, I think, a week or so ago for you to review.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
I make a motion to appoint Linda MAJCHRZAK to the library board to fill the vacant term with an expiration date of June 30th, 2023.
Support.
What's been made and supported? Any discussion on this item?
I'm excited for Linda to be on. She's like, I just see her drive all over town. She just works so hard for everybody that what a privilege it really will be to have her finally grab her for one of our boards. So exciting to have her volunteer for that.
Very good. We are thankful that she has put her name in. Look forward to working with her. Any other comments? Audience comments? Back to the table? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. Miscellaneous matters from the city manager, sir.
Over the weekend, we kind of had what I'd call a soft opening for our ice rink. It went out on the website, but didn't go out through text and stuff. So today we did get it out there on the Facebook page and the website. So the ice rink is open.
Good news, in one sense, but it's awfully cold
It's cool.
and windy. Council comments. Michael?
Nothing tonight, thank you.
Jamie?
Nothing tonight, sir.
Lee?
Nothing, thank you.
John?
Nothing.
Rob? It's because you guys have been in workshop since 5:30. We jump into this and we're going to go right back to it again, which, again, those workshops are all open to the public. But we're dealing with a lot of issues and plans for the whole year, really, the whole fiscal year that will take us into next July. So look forward to that, further those discussions after this meeting is over with. There is one new announcement, and that is the 22 Miss Richmond pageant is on. We did not have one last year due to COVID. It will be held on Sunday, March 20th at 2 o'clock at MAJCHRZAK's Banquet Center. You can follow this by going to Miss Richmond and Court on Facebook for more details, or call 727-1320 and somebody will get back to you. Our calendar, we have EDC will be meeting at 7 o'clock on the 20th?
Yes.
Okay. The TIFA will be meeting on the 24th. It is on the city calendar as the 26th. It has been moved to the 24th, a week from tonight at 7 o'clock here at City Hall. And I think that's it for the calendar. Our next regular council meeting will be on February 7th. Our chili cook-off, we still have openings, Margot?
Yes,
Chili
I
cook-off?
forgot to get this flyer down to you, Mr. Mayor, but Saturday, February 5th, 2022, from 11 a.m. to 1:30 p.m., the Recreation Department will be holding its chili cook-off. There's a $10 entry fee. We have received some funding, so if you've always wanted to be in the chili cook-off but didn't have a roaster or something to keep your chili warm, we do have those to loan out. And so otherwise, it's a $10 entry fee for putting your chili in, or a $2 sampling fee to get the chili.
Thank you, sir. The other thing that we'd like to announce, and it is on the city calendar, our new city calendar, which is available at City Hall. Is it available at our other buildings?
City Hall, the community center, and the library.
In the library.
All have calendars, yes,
Okay.
sir.
And that has all of our meetings and some other events that are in the community, and a lot of information on the community, especially for newer residents. There's a lot of things that are answered, that questions you may have. They're all in our new 2022 calendar. But any non-resident pavilion registration will begin on February 1st, and that's by calling 727-3064 over to our Parks and Rec if you'd like to rent parts of our park. Is there any other business of the City Council? If not, motion to adjourn be in order.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Support.
Motion been made and supported. There is no discussion on the motion. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. Thanks for being with us.